Hey beautiful people, what is up and welcome back to my channel and happy Sunday. I know you're probably not watching this on a Sunday. I know for certain you're not watching this on a Sunday because Lord alone knows when this is gonna go up. But it is what it is. If this is your first time watching me, welcome. I'm Jamila. I love all things beauty. I love all things makeup and skincare, and I especially love sharing my tips and tricks for how to find high-end and luxury beauty products at bargain prices. If that sounds like something you're interested in, I would absolutely love if you would consider subscribing and joining the fam. Why did I just do that? Okay. So I'm actually running a little bit behind schedule today. Here's what, right? The plan was for me to be done filming everything by noon. It is currently 12:06 and I've only filmed one thing, and I was trying to do 3 to 4 videos today. But what had happened was this eye look, it was a journey and a half to get here. And the video for that should be up before this one. And when I mean a journey and a half, I'm talking about, y'all, I literally had to take off my first application of this eyes and do it all over again, which was like 20 minutes of wasted time. So here we are, hella late and behind schedule. Now, I still wanted to make sure I filmed today because it is the weekend, and you all know that's really the only time I have to film because I work a 9 to 5 during the week. So that's the only time I have to film. And I'm trying to get my sort of March video, you mean March? Yeah, March. My like March favorites and monthly budget videos up early in April instead of it being like in the middle end of April like the last two have been for previous months. So I'm trying to do those somewhat early. Luckily they don't require a ton of prep for them, so we're just gonna dive in. So I have the numbers written down here, and y'all, I lost my ever-loving mind in March. When I tell you, I don't know what spirit took over me, but I lost my mind in March. I don't know what happened, but my budget like flew out the window, and it was like day 3. I don't even know how else to describe it. Like, I'm really upset about how far my budget went outside of the window, but after doing some calculations, I do think I'm not as bad as I thought I was. Now, that being said, we're gonna go through. And these monthly budget videos are still kind of evolving in how I am structuring it. So if it feels a little chaotic, I apologize. I'm trying to do my best to present this in a way that makes sense and it's a little bit cohesive. So what I want to do for this video is I want to tell you guys all of the things that I bought in March and how much I spent. Then I wanted to tell you guys all the things that I sold or got rid of my collection and how much money I made that I then was able to contribute to that spendings, so that you guys have more of an overarching picture of like how much I spent, how much I made, what the difference is, and where that ended up. And then lastly, I want to show you guys my PR that I got for this month, because this was an actually kind of heavy PR month. So I got a couple of products. I'm saying heavy, it was 3 things, you guys. I'm so dramatic. Literally 3 things. But for me, that's a lot, okay? I am a very small channel. So I want to show you guys the 3 things that I got in PR, and then let you know if I would have purchased it had I not received it in PR. Now, I know one of you guys asked in previous videos if I could also in this video share whether, like how I feel about the products that I purchased, having used them. And I will say that most of the things that I'm going to talk about having bought, I haven't used yet, which is actually quite sad. So I won't be able to touch on like if I used a lot of the products because I haven't. I spent the last couple of weeks honestly really focusing on the PR that I got, so that's why a lot of the things that I purchased I haven't really had a chance to actually play in, which is really sad the more I say it out loud. And then finally, for context, I think part of the reason why this was a pretty heavy spend month for me is because, one, it was the Ulta 21 Days of Beauty sale, and I did have some products that I was eyeing, so that definitely contributed to some of the spend. And then 2, the Beautylish gift card sale also took place as well. I had no intentions of shopping that sale, but I did end up buying some things, and that added up as well. And there was one large purchase that honestly kind of like threw all this out the water from the beginning. Okay, well, let's dive in. So I have all my stuff written down here in terms of what I purchased. So the first thing that I bought in March was actually the Peach and Lily Lactic Acid. Now this was on sale for the Ulta 21 Days of Beauty sale. And I decided to pick this one up specifically because I love the Sunday Riley Good Genes Lactic Acid. I think it's the best one that I've found. And the issue with that is that it's $85 for like 1 ounce, I believe. So it's stupid expensive, but the quality is really good. I tried to use the Good Molecules version, but it's not the same, not even close, not even by a long shot. So I was a little bit disappointed in that. I'm trying to finish it up now because honestly, I don't think it's doing much of anything, and it's definitely not giving me Sunday Riley results. So I'm not going to repurchase that one because it doesn't work as well. But then I saw the Peach and Lily one was going to be on sale, so I decided to pick it up. And you know the Ulta 21 days sale is 50% off. So it was $51, which meant that I paid $25.50 for that. Oh, I think it was $50. No, yeah, it was $51. Okay. So I paid $25.50 for that. Then the next thing that I picked up immediately after that, and I was like, well, there goes my budget, is that I picked up the Chanel face and eye palette as well as a Chanel quad. And I ended up spending $164.30 on that purchase. Now, Chanel is already stupid expensive, so that is why. And I believe the face palette alone, which I got in the deep version, was $90. So that was already going to push me well over my budget. So this is the face palette here. You've definitely already seen this, and I'm gonna do a video using this so you can see how it applies on my skin. But I just thought that this was stunning, and it is intended to be a face and eye palette so that you can use these shadows both on your face and your eyes. Truthfully, you could do that with pretty much everything. You don't need to be directed to do that by the brand, but by creating bigger pans, it does make it easier for you to use the shadows as face products as well. So I picked that one up, and then I decided to get one of the quads. This is the Le Faux Ombre quad. I have been eyeing this for a minute now, and I was just like, well, if I'm going to buy from Chanel, I might as well buy this too. And these retail for $65, or is it $68? Yeah, this one retails for $65. This is a limited edition quad. It is a warm neutral quad. It has beautiful embossing in there. I believe this was a part of their holiday release, so they actually do have highlighters and maybe some blushes as a part of this. But I just thought that this was stunning. I thought that it was one of the few Chanel quads that actually has a lot of depth, which, as someone with a deeper skin tone, that got me really excited. And I like that it's just sort of everyday neutral shadows that I would get a ton of use out of. So because Chanel is so stupid expensive, I spent $160. And y'all know my budget was like $150. So that already like blew that out to the water. Okay, then the next thing I purchased was actually a set of Blend Bunny brushes. Now, if you didn't know, Blend Bunny put out a post a couple weeks ago at this point, and they basically said that the brushes that they ordered from their manufacturer was falling apart. So the brush piece was falling apart from the handle, and they had been replacing so many of brushes for people that they just wanted to get rid of the stock and reorder some better brushes. So they were offering a buy one, get one on their brush sets. Now, the brushes are not sold individually, so you had to purchase a set. So the sets, I think they're like $35 a piece, and they each come with this little mesh case. So because they were doing a buy one, get one, I was like, well, yeah, I don't mind getting a little bit of super glue and sticking a handle back on if I could get 2 brush sets, for sure. And these are all blending brushes, so they aren't any of those flat brushes. So the set comes with 5 brushes. There you go. So the set comes with 5 brushes, and it goes from dark to light in terms of coloring. And they're designed in a way that the darker the handle, it means you're supposed to use the darkest shadow. So the way Blend Bunny recommends applying shadows is you start with the darkest and then you go to the lightest. So B1, which is the darkest brush, would be the first brush that you would go in with, and you would apply your Ulta V color, and then it gradually gets lighter in terms of tones. I thought that that was a really, really cool concept, a really great idea. Personally, I like to go from light to dark, so that's not how I would apply it, but you could use brushes however you want. I also really appreciate that it comes with a mesh bag, so you can see all of the brushes in there. You could also store other things in there, and it does include the Blend Bunny logo on top. So that ended up costing me, like I said, $35.68. And while we're on this, I'm just gonna say I then picked up another set of these, and I ended up spending $31.60 on that set. And the reason why it was a little bit cheaper is because Blend Bunny did a one-day sale where it was either 20 or 25% off, so I got a little bit of a discount on top of that. So now I have 5 Blend Bunny sets. I had one that I purchased from way back when, and then I did these 2 rounds of purchases, and like I said, each one came with a buy one get one. So I ended up getting 4 Blend Bunny sets and spending about $60 something to get all 4, which I'm not mad at. I'm okay with that. But I hadn't really thought about picking up any brushes, so that wasn't really a part of my budget because I really wasn't planning to buy any brushes. But because it was on sale, I thought, why not go ahead and buy some brushes? I have since decluttered a bunch of brushes as well. Like, this entire basket is filled with brushes that I am no longer using, so I have to figure out what to do with these. Some of these have barely been used, so if you need brushes, let me know. If you want to pay shipping and get some brushes, please let me know. But yeah, so I decluttered some and I brought in these new Blend Bunny brushes. And then the next thing that again blew my budget out to the water was I went to the cosmetics company store. Who tell me do that? Lord child. Because I went to the CCO and I was looking for one thing, but the way the CCO is set up, it's a buy more, save more kind of setting, which means that the more money that you spend, the more money that you save. So if you spend $125, less than $125, you save 40% off. If you spend more than $125, you save 50% off. So it definitely entices you to spend at least $125. So I went there because I actually was too late and too slow on the Ultra 21 days, and I missed out on getting the MAC paint pot in contemplative state. And I wanted to try that because I want to use it as an eyeshadow base. But because I was late, I ended up missing it. It sold out, but I knew that my CCO had it, so I decided to go to the CCO and pick it up there. And then I saw a bunch of other things and I picked it up too. This is the receipt from that purchase. So I did get a couple of things. I will say that more than half of the things on this receipt though are free gifts, which is what I love about the CCO as well, is that you do get a lot of free gifts depending on how much you spend. And because I've been to that CCO so often, the sales associate gives me just a bunch of like extra samples and goodies as well. So I love going there. So I want to show you some of the main things that I picked up in that run that actually helped push me way over in terms of my budget. And it's really 3 big products, to be quite honest. The 2 of them are the Tom Ford quads. Now, these are the 2022 Tom Ford quads, so Après-Ski and Chalet Lust. Literally, these came out, I think, in like November of last year. So I was really surprised to see them there already. Not really that surprised. When it's $90, people not gonna pay that as readily as they would have before when it was like $88. Even then was a little steep. But because a lot of people know that you can get Tom Ford at the CCO, a lot of people aren't rushing to buy Tom Ford at launch, at Nordstrom, at Beautylish, or any of these places where you have to pay like $80, $90+ for 4 shades. So the fact that it showed up at the CCO, not super surprising. And I looked at reviews before picking these up, and they weren't overly exciting. I think the thing with Tom Ford is that the color stories are pretty much the same. The formula has had minor tweaks, so it's not like you're getting any super special formula. So I felt like the reaction from people that picked up these holiday palettes was like pretty meh, which contributed to it ending up at the CCO at such a steep discount and so quickly. So this is the first one, Après-Ski. You can see it's a very sort of neutral, almost rosy type quad. I really like this one. This one I think had pretty nice reviews. I think that the pigmentation in this one made people a lot more excited about it. It also comes in the limited edition white packaging for this go around, as well as the like white sleeve with it. This is the outer component, so you get the silver sort of accent with the white packaging. And the second one is Chalet Lust. Now this is a very, very light palette, and all of these shades are topper shades. So this is the type of palette that you would use with another one because it's all shimmery, toppery shades. You would probably have to either put like a bronzer down or put like some other shade down on the lid, and then if you just wanted a little bit of shimmer, a little bit of sparkle to come to the eye, then you would just pop that on because there's no base to these shades. It's literally all topper shades. Which you can probably imagine is why people don't want to spend $90 on a palette of toppers. Like, who does that? So those were the 2 that already, you know, made my purchase really expensive. Granted, I did get 50% off just off of the strength of picking up those 2 products. And then I saw this Bobbi Brown Luxe Eye and Cheek palette. And I just thought that this was beautiful. Now the packaging is really nice. It's that sort of iridescent stars thing with a lot of reflective gold. It does say Bobbi Brown here, and I don't think people check for Bobbi Brown as a brand, but honestly, top shelf makeup. And this is the face palette. This is stunning. These shades, y'all, when I swatched this in store, I was like, absolutely yes, add to cart immediately. This shade, oh my gosh, amazing. And all of these could be easily one and done shades. The big palette, the big sort of highlighter shade in the middle is a duochrome, so it shifts gold to pink. Oh my gosh, obsessed with this. Haven't even used it yet, but from swatching it in the store, I had to pick it up. Now I do think that that retailed for $59. So at 50% off, I ended up paying $29.50 for that. And each of the Tom Ford quads was $45 each. The MAC paint pot, at it being 50% off, I paid $12.50. Again, that would have been the same price had I purchased it at Ulta. But because they sold it, I ended up buying it there. And I think there were some other couple random $5 things that I bought. One thing that I did get at a pretty steep discount is I picked up the brush cleaning spray from Bobbi Brown. This originally retails for $22. It was $5.50 because it was 75% off. Now I think these are meant to be used as a way to clean your brushes in between uses. So before you go in with like a full wash, you can just spray and wipe off your brush with this brush cleaner. So that was kind of like some of the main things from that CCO purchase. And like I said, I got a bunch of freebies. The next purchase that I made was I picked up some of the Juvia's Place lip pencils. These were on sale during the Ulta 21 Days of Beauty sale. And I ended up picking up 2 shades. I tried the Juvia's Place lip pencils once before, and I loved it. I thought it was creamy. It was stunning. So I decided, let me go ahead and pick up 2 more in that sort of brown color because I love... when you're my complexion, you could just pop on a brown lip liner with some lip gloss and you're good to go for the day. So each of those pencils are originally $10. And with the 2 of them, I ended up paying $7.56 because I also had $3 in Ulta points. So that's, I ended up paying a little bit cheaper than what it would have been. It would have been like 10 something. Then I placed another big order at Beautylish. Like I said, they were having their gift card event and I had no intentions of picking anything up, but I ended up buying some stuff. So I saw that their brushes were on sale. You guys know that I love the Units brush set. So I picked up a bunch of the orange brushes. I actually picked up a full set of the eye set and then 3 of the 308 brush. It's this flat brush here because I love this one. I don't have enough brushes that I like that allow me to apply shimmer shadows like this. So I picked up 3 of those and then a full eye brush set. And then I was like $20-something away from getting the gift card. So I went ahead and picked up a Sonia G brush. This is I believe it's the Worker brush. Yeah, it's the Worker brush. And I decided to go with this one after consulting my girl, Sunset Ray, as well as looking at one of Alicia's videos. And she says that this is one of the brushes that she likes for applying those one and done cream shadows. So like the Tom Ford cream shadows or the Charlotte Tilbury cream shadows. She said that this is a great one. It's like a good workhorse brush as the name implies. And you use that to apply it over the lids, buff out the edges, and you're good to go. So I thought that this would be a good one to get. And it's actually one of the cheaper brushes that Sydney Grace has. Let me see. Is that Sydney? No. That Sonia G. Sonia, did I say Sydney Grace before? Sonia G. It's one of the cheaper brushes in the Sonia G lineup. And then I picked up a bunch of Good Molecules products. The Niacinamide toner is like my holy grail, so I ended up getting a duo of this as well as, oh wait, no, this was a free gift. So I got a duo of the Niacinamide toner. I got the glycolic toner as a free gift with purchase. And then I picked up the jumbo size in the hyaluronic acid serum because my LYS serum is about to finish and I don't think I have another hyaluronic acid backup. So I decided to get that. Now, with all of that, my purchase ended up coming to $112.15. So a little bit over the $100 mark, but that's fine. And I'm definitely going to get a use out of all of those things. And then the last thing that I picked up, and I actually don't have this one with me here yet, is I picked up the Ariel and Morphe brush set. Now, this was one of the Ulta 21 Days of Beauty offers. And that one sold out, like, with a quickness. I actually stayed up, y'all. Because if you live on the East Coast and you're on Eastern Standard Time, the Ulta 21 Days sale starts at 1 a.m. for us the next day, right? Whereas wherever, I think they're on Central Time, so midnight for them is 1 a.m. for us. So I literally stayed up until 1 a.m. to make sure I got this brush set because I knew it was gonna sell out, and for good reason. It's one of the best brush sets that I have. It actually does include some brushes that have natural hairs, and it's one of the more affordable natural haired brushes that you could get. Not all of the brushes include natural hairs. You have to check each individual one. But I will say that the ones that do are very soft and they apply really well. And Ariel knew what he was doing when he designed that brush set, so it's a good one. I have a full set of the brushes and as well as double the eye. I have one full brush set, which includes the face and the eye brushes, and then one of the eye sets as well. So I already have double of it, but at this price I was down because the Ariel brushes retail for I think like $98, so they're not cheap. They're pretty expensive, especially for Morphe prices, but at $51 I thought that it was really good because you get the face brushes, the eye brushes, and the sponge. Now in the Ulta 21 Days they only offered either the full set or the face set. They didn't offer the eye set, which I thought was weird, but you know what, I'm gonna mind my business. But anyways, that is all that I picked up and spent money on during the month of March. That was a lot. So let me give you guys the grand total. I feel like we need to introduce some dread music here, like the soundtrack from Jaws or something. Anyways, so with all the things that I mentioned, I spent $582.63. I hear like, shame, shame. And yes, I am ashamed. I will tell you guys straight up, fully ashamed. So that's a lot. And I was really, really stressed out about this. But this is why it's so important to track your purchases and make sure that you're keeping track of all the things that you're spending money on, because it's so important to see where your money is going and understand the full, you know, like the full perspective of what you're spending. So that being said, that's how much I spent. Next, like I said, I'm going to tell you guys how much I made on my Macari, because that really saved me this month. So overall, I had a pretty strong month on Macari in terms of selling products and getting things out of my collection. The first thing that I ended up selling was the Stupid Love palette from House Labs. This was like pre-new House Labs, and I picked this up when they were going out of business, if you want to call it that, or during the rebranding. So they were getting rid of everything on Amazon, and I picked this one up at 50% off. But after taking a look at it, it's a really neutral color story with a sort of, it's neutral and blue. And that is a color story that I have over and over and over again because it's a very common combination. Like, I know Glamlight has it, Melt has it, who else has it? Like, I've seen it in a couple other places, so I know that I have blue and neutral shadows together already. I had never used the palette, so I decided to just put it on my Macari and get rid of it. The next thing I sold was my Glamlight and Michaela palette. Honestly, it's just too big and too much, and I don't like Michaela, so it just needed to go. I'm not interested in supporting her and having her products in my collection, and it was just way too big and, quite frankly, not the best Glamlight quality, which was surprising to me because I really like their palettes, but I wasn't in love with that one. And maybe it's because I was just overwhelmed because it was like literally every color possible. So, and that was the first one, so I got rid of that one. Then I sold the Anastasia Beverly Hills Nouveau palette, and I sold that one because, honestly, I bought that one off of the recommendation of a lot of lighter creators who love that color story, who really think it works well for them, and it probably does, but it's too light for me. It's way too light for me. The lavender shade is ash on my skin tone. It's just not good for my preferences. So I decided that I was going to declutter that one and purchase the Sydney Grace dupe of their singles. I haven't bought the dupe yet. Honestly, I'm not sure if I will. Maybe during their like Christmas and July sale, but honestly, that's a hard maybe. I'm not convinced that I want to pick up anything else right now, truthfully. Then I sold my Adept House of Elle palette. Not the one that I have and use and love. You guys will remember that I actually bought 2 of those palettes just for one shade. And I was sitting there and I was actually texting Kara about this, and I was like, girl, should I just sell it? Because the reality is I have so much eyeshadow. Do I really think I'm gonna pan that shade in the first palette? Honestly, I don't know. And if I do, I do, you know. So I decided that I don't need backups of palettes. So, and that one was brand new. It literally never even touched it. So I ended up selling that one. And then I sold my Luna Beauty Moon Prism Blush because it was way too light for me. I used it in a previous video. And when I tell you Ash, like 4 out of the 6 shades are too light for me. So that one had to go. I should have never bought that in the first place. I sold my Tom Ford Leopard Sun Quad. I sold my Beauty Bay Wilderness palette because I don't think I love the Beauty Bay formula. I don't even think I like the Beauty Bay formula. It's like the pigments are strong, like very, very pigmented shadows, but almost too strong because those shadows stain my eyes. And I have very few shadows that actually cause me staining. And I feel like I have dupes of the formula in other places. So I didn't feel very strongly about keeping any of my Beauty Bay palettes, so I got rid of that. And one thing I've been doing in some of my declutters is I've actually been getting rid of palettes that I have one here, one here. I've been getting rid of like some whole brands. So like I was holding on to like one Colourpop palette and I just got rid of all my Colourpop. Holding on to one Alien Cosmetics or Unearthly Cosmetics. And I just decided like I'm getting rid of all of that. So I got rid of all of my Colourpop, all of my Unearthly / Alien Cosmetics, and all of my Beauty Bay palettes because there are just some brands that I needed to purge from my collection because I realized I don't love the formulas that they have. Okay, 3 more things that I ended up selling. Wait, 4 more things I sold in... Did I mention this bundle, this palette? I don't know if I mentioned this yet, but I sold my Tom Ford Visionaire quad. I think I sold 2 Tom Ford quads in the month of March. Then I sold my Makeup Geek eyeshadow bundle. I purchased a bundle of their singles, their colorful singles, when they were going out of business, and it was like $120 something originally. Bought it for 50% off. Realized that a lot of those mattes are very duplicative in the bundle itself, and that I would rather use my Blend Bunny mattes and my Viseart mattes over those anyway. So decided that it wasn't worth it to me to keep it at all, so got rid of the entire bundle. I also sold my 2 KKW palettes. Like I said, I'm getting rid of some entire brands, and KKW, Lord alone knows where that is or what's happening. So I got rid of my Camo palette as well as my Crystallized palette. I got rid of 2 Nabla palettes, and not because they were bad, I just prefer the Nabla QT palettes. So I got rid of the Nabla Dreamy 2 as well as the Nabla Poison Garden palette. I got rid of 2 blushes from Melt. And lastly, I sold 2 Smashbox Cover Shot shadows, which are the smaller shadows. So you guys saw, that was a lot of products. I sold so many things in the month of March, and I'm really happy because I just like getting things out of my collection. It just feels better, I feel lighter, I feel great. So with all of that, I ended up making $343.72 on Mercari sales in the month of March. I'm really proud of that. And then I also had a $25 gift card to Ulta. So with the Mercari sales, the gift card, taking that away from how much I spent in the month of March, the only new money that I put into my purchases was $213.91. So my makeup budget is $150. So is it did I just raise it? So with a $150 makeup budget, spending a little over $200, I'm not mad at it. Would I want to be less, like way less? Yes, absolutely. I don't want to see 5 in front of any numbers, period. Like imagine if I hadn't sold any of the products on my Mercari. Imagine if I hadn't made any money. Like that is absolutely ridiculous. And seeing it written out like this, I'm looking at myself like, you just have to do better. Like you have to do better. You can't keep doing this. You can't keep spending like this, and it's just not okay. At least I don't feel okay. And a lot of these things, you know, everything that I mentioned was on sale, but just because it's on sale doesn't mean I need to buy it. So, you know, yes, I didn't go too far over because I had all of my Mercari sales, but at the end of the day, I'm still not happy with what I ended up spending just generally. So this month is a little bit of a womp womp crying face emoji, but it is what it is. I can't dwell on it. I just have to do better. Okay, now let's talk about the PR that I got this month. So like I said, this was a pretty heavy PR month for me, and I know it's only like 3 items, but 4, but for me that's a lot, especially as a smaller channel, and I am grateful for all of the brands that actually see the value in my content and appreciate my content enough to reach out and send me PR, so thank you. As always, my views, my opinions are my own. I give you guys the good, the bad, the ugly, and I always let you know when I get something in PR. So the first product that I have to show you is the Nomad Royal Europe palette. I do have a full first impression / review video on this. I will say that 10 out of 10 in terms of packaging. I love that this is just like a bunch of paper or cardboard layered on top of each other. I don't know if you can fully see it here, but it's a really, really textured palette. And what was really stunning about this is that they gave us multi-chromes. I really thought that the quality of this was superb. Now, a couple of quick thoughts. Like I said in my original video, not in love with the theme of this. As someone who grew up in the Caribbean and colonization, especially by the British monarchy and all of the monarchies, British, French, Spain, literally, they all colonized us. Dutch, Portuguese. I feel some kind of way when we glamorize crown jewels because all of them have been stolen from third world countries and countries who have suffered as a result of colonization. So I wasn't in love with the theming of this. And I appreciate you all for being so very respectful in the comments. You know, like I talked to the brand and they were very receptive to my thoughts. They reached out and they were like, thank you for sharing your video and your thoughts. And I was like, you know, absolutely. Like, even if I get something in PR, if something sits on my spirit and I feel some kind of way, I'm gonna talk about it. That's just how I am. So I didn't feel any like qualms about mentioning how I felt about the palette. But I also am like, it's makeup and I'm not gonna let like, that wasn't a reason or enough of a reason for me to feel like I needed to cancel Nomad. So I'm still gonna use it, still gonna enjoy the palette. If you choose not to, that's entirely on you, and there's zero judgment from here whatsoever. So taking aside the theming, like I said, the quality in this is superb. I thought the mattes were like the same beautiful blendable Nomad mattes. One thing that I really want to make sure that I flag, because it is not very clear in terms of the packaging, is that these are pressed pigments. I believe most of these are pressed pigments with the exception of like a handful. So if you do have sensitive eyes or if you have issues with pigments, just please be wary of that. Please try to figure out which exact shades are pigments. I am not sure, but I know that Dion, who also receives PR from Nomad, you know, she did some digging and she found out that these are pressed pigments. And I thought so because in the palette it actually does say pigments. It says extra fine pigments, so I assumed that they were pigments, but it's not very clearly listed. And I do believe on the box it has like the tiniest writing on which shades are pigments, so just be careful if that is something that bothers you. It doesn't bother me, but I want to flag because I know some of you guys have those issues. These are all multi-chromes. These are stunning, beautiful multi-chromes. They're not necessarily the most unique shifts, but they are honestly the shifts that if you're now getting into multi-chromes, this is what you should start with. The multi-chromes are available as singles if you don't want to buy the full palette, so if you wanted to do that, you could. I do have a code with Nomad Cosmetics. It's not affiliated, it's just Jamila, and it'll save you 10%. I don't make any money off of it. But I like this palette, and like I said in my video, would I have purchased it on my own? Honestly, I would have felt some kind of way, and I don't know if I would have. Maybe at like a sale when it was on a pretty decent discount, because this is also more expensive than their original palettes, with it being $57. So I definitely would have paused a little bit longer thinking about whether or not I would have purchased this than is typical for Nomad, because I really do enjoy their palettes and I really am oftentimes like sure that I'm gonna buy it if I don't get it in PR. The next product that I have is from Attitude Cosmetics. This was a completely new to me brand and I am obsessed. This is stunning. This is also a UK based brand. They reached out to me and said, hey, we'd love to send you our new palette in PR. And I said, absolutely, I would love to give it a try. I love trying new brands. You know, I'm trying to, you know, be thoughtful about how I bring new brands into my collection as of late, but I do love trying new brands. And when I saw this, I was like, oh my God, it's so beautiful. And then I put it on my eyes. Lord Jesus. It is such a good palette, such good formula, such good quality, and I rarely ever get excited for things now because I've tried so many things, but I was really happy with how my looks came out with this, how much fun I had playing with this. It was an easy, fun palette to work with, and like I always say, I'm here for the soft life. I'm not here to struggle. I don't want to be working too hard. And this palette was easy to use. It was fun to use. It blended well. The pigment was out of this world. It also has these two soft multi-chromes, which I like for being able to go to work and not looking crazy with super shifty multi-chromes. But if you expected higher quality, you know, like not higher quality, but more shifty multi-chromes, you're not going to get it in that palette, but it is a really stunning, beautiful palette that has a lot of versatility. I have a bunch of looks on my Instagram. I did 3 looks with this on my YouTube, which I will link down below if you want to watch the video. And I've used this palette like 5 times, so I'm really happy with it. The thing about this is that I don't know if I would have purchased this on my own. Like, deadass, I think I would have paused and been like, huh, this is a UK-based brand. It's going to cost a bunch of money. Like, should I buy it? But I would have been mad as hell. Like, now having used this, I would have been mad that I skipped out on this palette. And I've been sitting here for like a couple of days now thinking about whether or not I want to get their Phoenix palette, which was their first release. The only thing that's giving me pause is that it is a more neutral, warm eyeshadow palette. And I don't need no more neutral palettes in my collection. So that's what's giving me pause. But I will say that I am really glad that I have this in my collection, and I'm glad that I got to try the brand, because knowing what I know now, I would have been really sad that I had missed out on that product, because the formula really is that good. It's bomb.com. So my UK friends, y'all better get on that. Y'all better get on that. And it's only like 20 something pounds, which is pretty affordable, especially if you're living in the UK and you don't have to worry about the customs and the shipping and the taxes. So I'm really happy that there's like more high quality indie brands coming out in these international markets, that you all don't have to spend the money that I know US brands end up charging you because the shipping is so expensive. Plus you have to pay customs fees on top of it. So yeah. Anyways, and then I have 2 final products, and both of them are from Sydney Grace. You guys know I love Sydney Grace. They are one of my favorite brands. I have so much respect for Sydney Grace because before brands were even really into this whole let's cater to deeper complexions trend, which shouldn't be a trend, they actually created palettes with a light and a deep option so that we would have transition shades that worked for us. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. And they released these 2 products. I did get both of these in PR. The first one that they released was the Unbreakable Bond eyeshadow palette. It is a beautiful neutral palette. And I got it, they sent it to me in deep. And I really like this. This is like a perfect work travel palette. Like, I love this. This shade Deep Just Peachy. Oh my gosh. Stunning on the eyes. And it really like pulled at my heartstrings when I saw this palette, because it was one that they said was inspired by Taylor's girls, like the 3 sisters, and I am a part of a trio. I have 2 other sisters, and it just like literally I was like, oh my god, I relate to this so much. So I was really excited by this. Now, like I said in my video, again, I have a video on this. This was a part of a previous bundle, so if you have the bundle before, you may not want to pick this up because it's going to be extremely duplicative. All of these are shadows that already exist. So again, if you have a full or big Sydney Grace eyeshadow collection, don't buy the palette unless you've really like taken the time to dig into your collection and make sure that you check to see which shades you have so that you don't end up with too many duplicates. Now, if you want it in a palette format because it's just easier for you, then yeah, I mean, your money, you do you, boo, buy what you want to buy. But just wanted to make sure you guys understood that these are not new shades, they're existing shades. They just brought the bundle back in a palette format. Okay, and then the final thing, which was the best part of their release, in my opinion, was their face palette, y'all. Sydney Grace gave us face palettes that come in light, medium, and deep. Now, I'm going to be doing some videos or some clips with like some face swatches so you guys can see this later, but you get a bronzer and 2 blushes and a highlight. In my personal opinion, and this is the deep version, this Sweetbriar shade is actually better as a bronzer for some complexions. I tried to use this as a blush and it was a lot. But when I mix this in with the bronzer to get a more drastic or dramatic bronzer, stunning, gorgeous. This blush, I need this to just be available as a single because this is so beautiful. I'm wearing it today. I love it. I have been obsessed with this blush. It's been my go-to for like the past couple weeks. So I love this face palette. I know a couple of you guys picked it up, and the highlights is really nice, and I think it could be used as like an eyeshadow as well. Like, so the face palette is, I think, my favorite thing from the release. I've been really enjoying it. But yeah, these are all of the products that I have. Oh, I didn't tell you guys. Would I have picked these up on my own? Definitely the face palette, because the face palette is $28, y'all. $28 for 4 shades. And I realize that I'm talking really fast. So let me take a breath. Okay, and drink some water because my throat so behind schedule. It's 10 to 1 and I have one more video I need to film. Okay, so like I was saying, would I have picked this up? Definitely the face palette. I honestly think that because this is $28, the value is absolutely amazing. These are very large pans. You get 25 grams of product. You get 4 different shades. I think that for that price, it would have been a no-brainer for me. Now, the eyeshadow palette is a little bit on the pricier end. It's like a little over 50. I think it's like $52, $54. So with that in mind, I definitely would have waited for a sale for the palette because it is a neutral palette. Now, I don't think that it is anything that you probably don't already have. If you like the Sydney Grace formula, that's totally understandable. But because I have so many shadows, I definitely would have waited on picking up the palette because, like I said, it's just a neutral palette. Okay, this video shows that I've been filming for 48 minutes, and I don't know how, because this was supposed to be like a 20-minute video, but here we are. So I hope you guys enjoyed seeing today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing all of the things that I purchased, how much I made, what the difference is, where I am at in my budget. Again, I have a lot of feelings about it, most of them not great, but it is what it is. I just have to, you live, you learn, you do better, you improve, and that's it. You know, progress over perfection. I think that's what James Welsh always says, and yeah, that's what we're going with. If you like this video, I would absolutely love if you would hit that like button. It really does help the channel. All of the engagement counts. If you haven't already done so and you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to subscribe on your way out. That way you get to see a lot more content from me. I've been doing really good, you guys. 3 to 4 videos a week. So yeah, don't forget to hit that subscribe button anywhere. Leave me a comment down below. I really want to know from you guys, how is your monthly makeup budget going? I know a lot of us are in the same boat where we're trying to be better with what we spend on makeup. So let me know in the comments what your March looked like. Are you happy with it? Are you not happy with it? I would love to hear that. And that's it. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you more than you know, and I'll catch you in my next one. Bye!